I have always been curious about other animals, and for as long as I can remember, my interest in them has been regarded as somewhat curious too. As a child, while most little girls played with dolls, I was out in the woods kissing frogs, with no expectation of a prince, dangling daddy longlegs in failed hypnosis experiments with my peers, and trying to make a buck selling live insects in lieu of lemonade from a stand at the end of our driveway. The neighbor across the street, in response, crowned me the Queen of Disgust. Fast forward to a time when I saw my career as a professional science writer and editor suddenly morph into the pursuit of a doctorate in early American studies. That first semester, I found myself facing off with the museum specimen of a chain pickerel, an elongated freshwater fish with a distinct underbite and sides modeled like chicken wire. Its skin had been dried, flattened, and slapped onto an annotated piece of paper outside Boston in the late 1700s. Near the end of the Age of Enlightenment, a flurry of scientific inquiry, physical upheaval, and political revolution stretching across the 18th century. Even in the presence of a fish so still, my curiosity about the animals of the past and about the curious people who studied them began to quicken. That shadow of a fish inspired this book. It tells a story about the people and, most of all, the animals who together animated the capacious discipline of natural history in the 18th century, the quintessential era of curiosity. Although most books on this early form of natural science stay rooted in history and, largely, the human drivers of events, Curious Species straddles the 18th century and the present day. Its chapters weave back and forth between histories of specific creatures, chief among them corals, rattlesnakes, fish, and raccoons, and narratives of my own recent escapades with the descendants of these animals in the 21st century. As we will see, modern human-animal relations owe many a debt to the science of 3 centuries ago. This book reorients our picture of how science gets done and how knowledge gets made, or lost, around who or what gets studied. It shows how our world relies on an ecology of other beings beyond human control or design. It makes animals its unruly protagonists. At a historical moment when natural history coalesced into a discipline and likewise sought to discipline nature through classification and experiment, animals fundamentally shaped and thwarted the human quest to know the natural world. Corals sank ships while defying categorization. Cryptic rattlesnakes so terrified naturalists that some declined to study them, and raccoons, as curious curiosities themselves, muddied what it meant to be human and what it meant to know.